Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're taking a really interesting look, sort of doing some educational reconnaissance, you could say.
Hmm.
We're focusing on the Applied English Department at Nantou Senior High School. We've got their course maps, faculty lists, and even logs of their field visits, which look pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's right. And our goal here really is to maybe cut through some of those old ideas about vocational schools.
Stereotypes, yeah.
Exactly. And see how this department is actually tackling a pretty critical modern challenge.
Always.
Preparing students to communicate, not just fluently, but professionally in these really specialized, fast-changing fields. We're looking at how they mix high-level academics with immediate practical stuff.
And what jumps out right away, for me at least, is just how versatile they expect these kids to be.
Totally.
I mean, it's not just grammar drills, is it? Their own logs show field trips that seem worlds apart, like the Wanzhuang soy sauce tourism factory.
Traditional industry.
And then almost back-to-back, the Beyond Biotech R&D Center.
Yeah.
Just think about the vocabulary shift needed there. It tells you straight off they're aiming for communication in complex, real-world situations. Okay, let's unpack this.
Well, I think we have to start where their own materials start, which is pushing back against some myths.
Definitely. They're very direct about it. They tackle that old idea head on that vocational high schools are, just for students who didn't do well academically. Their whole point is, no, this is a choice for specialized, intense learning. It's not some fallback. And that rigor, that seems to be the foundation for everything else.
And that connects right into the second myth, or maybe it's more of a modern anxiety.
The AI thing.
Yeah, exactly. This fear that technology, especially AI, is going to make language skills, redundant.
Right.
And their answer is just brilliant, I think. It's not fear AI, it's master AI. They actually say, worried about being replaced by AI, then master AI.
That's such a powerful reframe.
It is.
It positions English not just as a subject you learn, but as the interface, the way you interact with technology, with business.
Precisely. And that thinking leads straight to what they call their core advantage. They put it really neatly. Language ability does not equal communication ability.
Oh, okay.
Their whole program seems built around bridging that exact gap, turning textbook English into, actual professional communication.
So looking at their big goals, you can see how they're trying to make that happen. It seems like everything pushes students in 4 main directions.
Yeah, that's a good summary. It's like high-level English tests, a serious Japanese track too, getting ready for university entrance exams, both general and specialized ones, and then this packed schedule of practical activities inside the school, outside the school, competitions, visits, the works.
Let's talk about those certifications for a second, because the targets they're setting are, they're ambitious, really ambitious for high school.
They really are. You're asking for professional level language skills here.
Okay, so for English, what are we talking about?
TPT intermediate, pushing towards high intermediate, aiming for DoAE scores of 800 plus.
800 plus, wow.
Yeah. And they also fold in specialized business English tests, levels 1 through 4.
Okay, a DoAE 800. That's not just conversational fluency, is it? That's like professional working proficiency.
Yeah.
Globally recognized.
Exactly. To get high schoolers there systematically, that needs a really focused, intense curriculum.
And they do all that alongside a Japanese track.
Yep, a dedicated track. Grade 11 students aim for the basic JLPT N5.
Okay.
But then by grade 12, they're pushing for N4, maybe even N3.
N3. That's pretty advanced for a high school level. That definitely opens doors, right? For jobs involving Japan-related business or tourism.
Absolutely. It positions them immediately for roles needing that cross-cultural communication, maybe translation support.
So what's fascinating here then is looking at how the curriculum actually gets them there. It must shift pretty hard from just general English, right?
Well, completely. When you look at the course list, it goes way beyond just reading novels or grammar rules.
Like what?
Well, you see dedicated classes in, say, English business correspondence, practical skills.
Right.
Or a news English reading guide, how to actually process media, current events efficiently. There's specific Chinese English translation practice. And it all seems to build towards this capstone project practice thing.
Okay, what's that?
It sounds like where they have to pull everything together, language, research, presentation skills into one big project. That's vocational training in its truest sense, I think. It's teaching the language for the job.
And you can't deliver that kind of specialized teaching without the right staff, surely.
No, absolutely not. The faculty mix seems really intentional.
How so?
Well, you've got this blend of academic strength and practical focus. For example, they list a certified foreign teacher, Todd Alperovitz, American,
Okay.
and his specialty. Over 15 years focused specifically on beginner, intermediate, and advanced listening and speaking. Getting that native speaker input daily must be huge for hitting those DoAE scores for pronunciation.
Makes sense. And I noticed the admin roles seem tied into teaching, too. Like the department director, Kai Chengyu, but also teachers listed as employment section chief, training section chief.
Yes, Zhang Mirong and Li Ruhi. That suggests the people teaching, say, business writing or translation are also the ones thinking about careers and skills training.
So the academic side stays tightly connected to what employers actually need.
That seems to be the idea. And, we shouldn't skip over the Japanese side of the faculty either.
Right, Lin Yingyi teaching that.
Yeah, and look at the courses. Tourist Japanese conversation, Japanese culture. It's not just grammar. It's about understanding the context, the culture, so you can actually communicate effectively, not just string sentences together.
Okay, so we've got the academic rigor, the specialized curriculum, the right faculty mix. Now let's shift to the application. How do they actually, test this out in the real world?
Right.
Because here is where that idea, language ability isn't. Communication ability really seems to come alive.
This part is crucial, I think. Those field visits, they look like a deliberate strategy to build adaptability.
Well, let's go back to that soy sauce versus biotech example.
Right.
The Wanzwan soy sauce factory visit in 2022.
Traditional, cultural.
Paired with the Beyond Biotech R&D Center. High-tech science.
Yeah.
So, hold on. Are you saying the same students, maybe even in the same week, are learning vocabulary for like fermentation and craft history, and then switching gears completely to talk about genomics, clean rooms, R&D funding? That sounds like, communication whiplash.
That's exactly the point. It forces them to switch registers fast, from talking about cultural heritage and tourism to this super formal technical language of R&D.
Ah, I see.
It trains professional flexibility, the kind of thing AI, right now at least, finds really hard to do well.
And it wasn't just industry visits either. That 2021 trip looked different again, engaging with the Sadiq tribe, farming and arts.
Yeah, pure cultural immersion. Think about the sensitivity needed there, the specific vocabulary around indigenous culture, maybe ecotourism.
So it shows they're prepping students for a whole spectrum of communication roles, from like global tech exports to local cultural ambassadorship.
And this practical side gets tested too, right? Through competitions.
Right. The sources mention successes, like a gold medal in the national skill competition.
Yeah, and doing well in external English presentation contests. These aren't just classroom exercises. They're performing under pressure outside the school walls.
And that international link you mentioned earlier, hosting the Sendai High School AI Research Club.
Yes. Sendai High School #1, specifically their International Exchange AI Research Club.
Okay. So they weren't just making small talk. They were likely discussing complex AI concepts in English with Japanese peers.
Exactly. That's where the tech skills, the master AI idea, meets actual global communication. It's high-tech competence, specialized vocabulary, and that kind of high-touch cultural awareness all rolled into one.
It really does seem designed to produce communicators ready for the modern economy.
I think so.
So let's connect this to the bigger picture then. After 3 years of this kind of intense specialized training, what happens next? What pathways open up?
Well, the key seems to be flexibility. They're not just funneling students into one specific track.
Right.
The training looks rigorous enough for students to aim for general university admission or go down more specialized vocational university routes. Things like individual application, selection admission, registration, special selection, even technical excellence pathways or the STAR program.
So 6 different pathways mentioned.
Yeah, the language skills are meant to open doors, not close them. Keep options open.
And inside the school, they seem to support this with resources that encourage learning outside of class time, too.
Oh, definitely. Little things, maybe, but they add up. Like having a magazine area right outside the office updated monthly, or the language classroom having a novel and picture book area, and using QR codes for borrowing.
Ah, neat.
It makes grabbing and reading authentic stuff in English or Japanese just normal, part of the daily environment. It turns the whole place into more of a learning ecosystem.
So wrapping this all up, what we're seeing is this applied English department doing something pretty clever. They're mixing these really high language goals, like TOEI C800, maybe
Yeah.
JLPTN3,
Ambitious goals.
with this incredibly varied hands-on industry exposure, moving from, say, soy sauce making and cultural tourism
Right.
straight into biotech R&D and talking AI with international students.
Yeah, the big takeaway for me is that vocational education, when it's done like this, is really about specialization and adaptation.
Okay.
The whole philosophy seems to be you have to master the language, yes, but also the medium, the context. You have to actively work on bridging that gap between just knowing English and actually communicating effectively in specific situations.
Which brings us back to that master AI idea.
Exactly. Use technology as a tool for better communication. Don't just fear it might replace you.
That combination, deep technical understanding plus fluent, adaptable communication, that feels like it's going to be crucial in so many jobs going forward.
Absolutely.
So maybe a final thought for you, our listener. Given this department's focus on bridging that communication gap and their explicit advice to master AI, what industries, besides the obvious ones like teaching or translation, maybe manufacturing, green energy, even finance, which sectors do you think will most urgently need people with exactly this blend of technical savvy and communication skill in, say, the next 5 years?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question to ponder. Where else is that combination critical?
Definitely something to mull over as we see technology reshaping pretty much every job description out there. We'll see you in the next deep dive.